Filmmakers and science fiction writers have been thinking about virtual worlds for a long time. Think of Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One or Neil Stephenson's novel Snow Crash, which formed its basis. The technological prerequisites have been around for a long time: VR headsets, haptic suits, eye tracking systems. All that was missing was a metaverse, a place where all these inventions would be brought together, and the Somnium Space project just solves this problem. In the video we will tell you what kind of metaverse it is and how it differs from social networks, games and marketplaces. First, let's look at the metaverse from the outside. The world of Somnium Space is a small city by the lake. Museums, play areas, parks and much more are located along the coast. You can immerse yourself in the metaverse using a VR headset. Web mode is also available to visit places directly in the web browser. But Somnium Space is more like an advanced version of the internet than an open world game like Grand Theft Auto Online. There is no storyline and no rules. Any user can purchase virtual land and build whatever they want. This is similar to how people buy web addresses on the internet and create websites. That is, Somnium is like a three-dimensional version of internet corporations like Google or Amazon, which combine huge ecosystems of different products. But the main thing that distinguishes the metaverse from everything else is a unique economy built on the blockchain. Let's talk about it in more detail. Thanks to the blockchain, the Somnium Space economy is built in a decentralized manner. Users have full ownership of their digital assets, that is, they can use and exchange them even in other apps. And even the developers themselves cannot remove or change the territory of the land that someone has already bought. Let's describe the main components of the Somnium Space economy. Ethereum. It is the second largest blockchain in the world and also serves as the foundation for the metaverse economy. With it, companies can create and sell digital goods in the form of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It is more efficient and safer than doing business through an online intermediary. Cube. These are the ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, which are the in-game currency of Somnium Space. Users pay with each other with these tokens. For example, Cube can be useful to buy a ticket to a virtual concert. Marketplace. Somnium Space users can freely trade their crafted items on any NFT marketplace such as OpenSea. It will become the centerpiece of the Somnium Space's economy. Everyone will be able to monetize their work, whether it be art, music or program code. All media files from NFTs are stored on servers and digital information about them along with the proof of ownership are stored on the Ethereum blockchain. In a word, Somnium Space users can create any goods and services without intermediaries. In addition to a decentralized economy, the Somnium Space metaverse differs from other virtual worlds by a high level of immersion. Games like World of Warcraft and Grand Theft Auto Online have always existed only on computer screens. It is impossible to distract from real objects and extraneous noise with their help. Therefore, they cannot be called metaverses. The term metaverse first appeared in Neil Stephenson's 1992 novel Snow Crash. This was the name of a photorealistic virtual reality in which the characters could communicate with each other. 30 years later, VR equipment has become available that science fiction writers of past decades could only dream of. The embodiment of the metaverse has become technically possible. Somnium Space is available for all major PC-connected VR headsets such as Valve Index, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Windows Mixed Reality and more. They have built-in displays that show separate images for the left and right eyes. Headsets come with different controllers and sensors depending on the model. VR headsets are still not widely used, so Somnium Space has a web mode. You can enter the metaverse directly in the web browser and without registration. For this purpose, Somnium Space has a guest mode. The Somnium Space metaverse is being built by the residents themselves. For construction, they use special programs, Builder and Unity SDK. With the help of the first, you can create physical objects such as houses or decorative items, and the Unity SDK allows you to upload your own avatars and animations to the metaverse. These tools are suitable for advanced users as they require 3D modeling skills. VR headsets are not the limit to how deep you can dive into Somnium Space. The metaverse's programming code supports finger, lip and eye tracking as well as the transmission of smells, wind and even touch. But all these possibilities will appear only in the future, since the equipment for such technologies has not yet entered mass production. Social interactions play a big role in the Somnium Space Metaverse. To encourage users to have healthy communication, the Karma system was developed. It reflects the social status of the Metaverse's residents. Karma level is calculated as a combination of several factors, such as ratings from other users. Respectable players with higher karma level will affect your karma if they decide to rate you. Involvement in the world of Somnium Space is also important. Karma is increased by your time in the metaverse, the number of lands you own and transactions with other users. And there are many other factors as well. For example, organization of events, participation in them and other social activities have a positive effect on karma. In future updates, Somnium Space developers plan to add the ability for users to receive cube tokens depending on their karma level. For example, residents who provide the services of guides or instructors in the metaverse will be able to earn money. If you decide to dive into the Somnium Space Metaverse now, it might get boring. Still, VR headsets are not yet very common. It's better to choose a time and come to some event. For example, dance parties are held at Somnium Space every Sunday. It's one of the most popular regular events in the Metaverse. Users listen to a music set by a guest DJ, dance and get to know each other. Also, Somnium Space often hosts live performances by artists. Most of them are free and you don't need to buy tickets. Aspiring musicians get the opportunity to find their audience thanks to the metaverse. In addition to concerts, Somnium Space also hosts free meetups and 3D design tutorials. For upcoming events, visit the Somnium Space website or the official Twitter page. You can find the links in the description, but it's not necessary to use what is already there. Somnium Space is a true metaverse, so here you can create something useful for others. Here is a short list of possibilities that anyone can implement. Developers can sell tokenized digital items and avatars. Companies can set up their own stores inside Somnium Space. Game designers can post short demos of their games. Universities can create educational courses, events and immersive museums. Architects can design a building and upload it to the metaverse via Unity SDK. Artists can showcase their artwork from sculptures to 2D and 3D paintings. And NFT collectors can create galleries to showcase their collection to others. And this list is endless. If you also have an interesting idea, don't forget to tell us about it in the comments. And let's summarize for now. Somnium Space is a metaverse built on the blockchain. Users can buy land and create whatever they want on it in virtual reality. For example, they can create shopping malls, games, parks and more. To immerse yourself in it, you will need a VR headset, but even without it, you can visit interesting places using the web browser version. For example, you can visit dance parties and concerts by young performers.